Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Apoorva. I'm a first-year Master in Planning candidate at the Department of City and Regional Planning. And today I'm here to talk about land tenure security for urban poor from a systems thinking approach. What we do today is to understand the concept of land tenure, tenure security, and urban poor, apply systems thinking to it to answer two questions. Why is land tenure security important for urban poor? And why is it not being provided? What is the problem? So starting with the concept, the first thing that comes to our mind when we think about land tenure security is the physical entity of land. Applying tenure to land gives us land tenure security. Now tenure basically means the kind, extent, and the duration of use you put a commodity to, which in case of land pertains to the use of land to build a house, a shop, do agriculture, mixed use, etc. The extent of freedom to sublet your property, to mortgage your property, to use it as a collateral, and the duration converts to the number of years you can put the land to use. Now the recognition of the way in which you're using your land gives rise to land tenure security. Now tenure security has three parts to it. You should have the right of protection from eviction. You should not be evicted from your land without your will. You should have the confidence in the government for enjoying the benefits that arise out of your property or your land. And you should have the ultimate right to your own land. Now the important part here is that the recognition and insurance of a defined tenure takes place in the presence of a government that through a land policy. And the way government approaches land policy is through the perspective it has about land tenure, security, and urban poor. Consider using this diagram that I found in one of the papers that I was going through about land tenure security that explains the circle of land overlapping with the way humans use it, which defines the socio-economic relationship of it, overlapped with the systems of recognition that define the land tenure security. The first time I went through this diagram, I couldn't understand shit about this concept. And that was because this overlapped various ideas and it did not allow me to form distinctions between ideas. And hence there was a question mark. So how did systems thinking help me here? It helped me to make distinctions between the ideas that existed in the concept. It helped me to establish relationships, the part holes, and then the perspectives. Moving on. So what I did next was to understand the impact of land tenure security on urban poverty and to establish the relationship. Now the United Nations defines urban poverty as a combination of any three of these characteristics. So ideally if you are impacting any three of these characteristics in a positive way, you are helping elevate urban poverty. Let's start by counting the impacts. So the right to government protection from eviction allows the adults in a household to go out to work, who in absence of security would want to stay back to protect their property, and the only breadwinners for the family left are the kids. So you don't have kids in the school, you have kids working out on the roads or somewhere in the informal economy. Next is the confidence of not being deprived of the benefits that actually starts by providing the poor access to basic services of water, sanitation, and sewage. If they don't have the confidence in government that they'll be provided with these services, they won't have confidence in government at all. This in turn helps improve the built environments and the poor health status. Next is the right of land. When you have right to your land, you can use it as a collateral to start up new businesses, which opens up more possibilities for employment, which in turn impacts the low and insecure income of the households. And in turn, all of these together give the urban poor an opportunity to improve their housing as and when they have resources, because they know that the property will not be taken away from them. So what we see here is that land tenure security impacts not just one or two or three parameters of urban poverty, it directly or indirectly impacts all of them. And so we have the answer to our first question, which is why land tenure security is important for urban poor. However, the important point here is that this is not what is being done by the governments in developing countries. What the government in developing countries are doing is regularizing the entire slum area instead of giving households the property to separate plots of lands. Oftentimes, and this does not help the urban poor, because if they don't have a defined property, they cannot use it as a collateral. They cannot build their house because they do not know what their property is. They will not have the incentive to improve their houses and so their built environments. Oftentimes, this situation is highlighted as the unwillingness of government to give away their lands to the urban poor. But this is not true, because the governments are actually giving away large chunks of their lands to regularize the entire slums. So what is the problem? Why not land rights and tenure security? To understand this, I tried to look into the mental models that the governments had about giving tenure security to urban poor. And what I realized was, first, the government was unable to make the poor households stay on the same piece of land that they were given rights to. Because as soon as the household had the rights to land, they would immediately rent it out as an additional source of income, move to another shanty in some other slum, and the problem of urban poverty is never ending. The second was the problem of subdivision of land. The government did not know how to subdivide the land. Should they divide the land equally amongst all households within a slum? Should they do it in proportion to the number of members that the household constituted? They had no answer to this. So what I found by understanding the mental model of governments was that it was not the absence of motivation or unwillingness to help the poor. Rather, it was the lack of solutions to these wicked problems that nobody has answers to. Government does not know how to deal with it. Policymakers do not know the solutions to it. They do not know how to put solutions in place. And so, systems thinking for me, systems thinking allowed me first to identify the ever-promising benefits of tenure security to urban poor, but it also helped me identify the wicked problems that exist in the world that are the barriers for us in moving towards providing tenure security to the urban poor. And so in the coming future, I wish to find solutions to these wicked problems using systems thinking, and not just me, but all of you, now that you know what the problem is and what the solution is. So yes, this is how systems thinking helped me to understand the concepts of this problem, the problem itself, and the solution that lies somewhere in the air that nobody knows how to approach because of the wicked problems.